just going to be knitting and chatting about whatever it is that comes to mind. I don't know exactly what that is yet, so yeah, thank you all for joining my first knit and chat. My name is Howl Carter. I am the creator of SilkenHavoc.com. I feel like I'm like beginning the intro of my YouTube video. But yeah, I'm Howl Carter. I'm the creator of SilkenHavoc.com, which is a blog and basically a creative space where I share my creations and my projects and all that kind of stuff with all of my viewers. So we'll see if anybody else comes in. Right now, the two people that I have here are people that I know. So it's exciting. Thank you for the support and coming to join me on my live today. Do you all have any questions for me? I think you can, I don't know if you can do it, but okay. If I am new to knitting, what do I do? What do I need to know about first steps? So, first steps, I would say when you start off, you want to start with larger needles. So right now I'm using a size 11. No, this is an 8 millimeter needle. So typically I would say go with this size or larger, and try to find yarn that's not too small, but probably like acrylic is probably the best to start with because it's not super expensive. It's what I use, and it's what I'm using right now because this is a pretty large like scarf project that I'm working on. So I would say back in high school. So that is what I would say to start with. So make sure you have a large needle, inexpensive yarn to start, and then start with YouTube videos. So with your YouTube videos, you'll find lots of people who knit. Hey Raven, so I just see you join. So basically I'm just answering a question from a viewer. They asked, if you're beginning to knit, what are the first things that you want to know? So I was telling her that first you'll want to get a pretty large size needle. So at least start with larger needles and inexpensive yarn, because when you first start, your projects will probably come out looking a little bit crappy. So you probably have like a lot of holes and things like that in your projects. When you do your first project or your first scarf, it definitely won't come out most likely the way you want it to. So I would just, this is very interesting to be online, I guess, and doing this, but this is good for me because I definitely want to get out of my comfort zone and get used to talking to people basically more often. And like, this isn't a large crowd, but like in my head, anybody could be watching this, so it's definitely a big place to grow. And I would say, especially if you're starting. Also, what I'm currently working on, I am making a oversized scarf. So this scarf is probably about 14 feet long and about 2 feet wide. So as you can see, one of my little stitches came off. So as you can see, it's pretty wide, and then it just keeps going. So it's kind of balled up now, but like, this is probably not the largest project I've made, because I have made a few Afghans in the past. But yeah, that's what I'm working on now. So I'm working on just a huge scarf, and my goal for this is to have basically I want to have an art showcase at some point. So hey, see, we have a new person who just joined us. So I was just telling somebody what I'm working on right now, which is a oversized scarf. 10 to 11 years now. So as you can see, like, I don't necessarily have to look at my knitting work as I'm doing it, but like I can knit blindfolded. Let me show you. Let me see. So I can just cover my eyes and you'll see. So yeah. At this point, I think I'm good enough to where you don't necessarily have to look. It's just like all muscle memory. For a while before I would go to bed, I would literally just like knit and close my eyes and lay down until I fell asleep. Like, I'm literally obsessed with knitting. So, and one thing about it is it's like a great way to feel productive in your downtime. So say I'm watching like a Netflix series, I can actually just knit while I'm watching Netflix. And that's how I got a lot of this project done, because I would just knit while I was like talking to friends or watching a movie or waiting in line. Like I've been at a car place waiting for my car to be fixed, and I'll knit while I'm doing that. Like, there's really no shame in my game. And after, like, at first, I was a little embarrassed to be out knitting, but then it's like, this is the skill, and like, how can you be embarrassed of a skill that you have? So that's really something that I got over. It really didn't take that much time. It's like, not a lot of people can do this, so why would I be embarrassed about a skill that not a lot of people are able to do, and not a lot of black men you see are like around knitting? So I think that's cool that I can do something that not a lot of people in the world do or are willing to showcase. And another thing, ideally, when I started Silken Havoc, the idea was that I would be able to branch out and have different variations of it. So like, I have Silken Havoc, which is the overall brand, and then I have Silken Havoc knits, and then potentially that could be like Silken Havoc photography or Silken Havoc whatever. And so that's one thing I like about it, is that it could be so many different things, and it doesn't have to be just pinpointed to one specific thing. There's a St. Louis fashion blogger. Her name is A.K. Brown, and she talked about how she used to have a blog. It was called the Nicheless blog, and now she has a new blog. You should check her out. Her name is A.K. Brown STL. That's her website, akbrownstl.com, and then on Instagram she's AK Brown STL. Yeah. But she talked about having a Nicheless blog in the past, and so that kind of, I feel like that's what I have, but I didn't really know what it was called until I saw her talk about it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, basically I think I have a Nicheless blog. I mean, it's revolving around the arts, and I can knit in my car. I can knit very far. I can knit with one eye shut. I will knit very far. You are right. I will knit anywhere. Sam, I am. Oh, how do you come up with videos for YouTube videos? So what I've been trying to do more often is really just, people say you should come up with a niche for your brand, and while that is true, I find it hard to come up with a niche because I like to do so many things. I don't necessarily want to just pick one thing. So what I do is, typically I try to make videos about stop asking you questions. The loud is not mine. Well, I want us to interact, so that's why I'm asking you questions, but I guess I probably shouldn't ask you all these questions. But anyway, what I typically do, digital art, okay, that's what's up. So what I typically do to come up with my videos is I just try to share things with the world that I feel like I'm good at, or that I want to learn how to do. So what my channel has basically become is a DIY channel for a lot of, like, basically it's just a DIY channel, because I am a DIYer. I'm like a crafter. I'm a creative. So I just think about things that I do. So probably next in the near future, I'll actually do a video about knitting. I just haven't figured out a way to make, not that knitting isn't fun, it's just, it doesn't look like it's fun sometimes to other people, but like to me, I enjoy it. So figuring out how to incorporate knitting into a video is going to be my next project. But like my recent video, I painted my nails. I've done some vlogs, so just like things I've done with my friends. I did a nature vlog. I did some travel vlogs, and I've done some a sewing tutorial, and other basically DIY craft videos. I've been sketching a lot. A couple garments. Okay, so somebody said I've been sketching a lot lately and have a couple garments I want to produce for customers. For consumers. Okay, that's cool. So I know we talked about doing a collab one day. We actually still need to do that collab, and one day I'll make something else and we can figure out how to make it happen. Maybe you can come on my YouTube channel one day and talk about what it's like to actually make professional grade garments, unlike some of my DIY projects that I've done. Yeah, and maybe Samantha, you can join me for a dance tutorial or something, since I do want to do a series. Is going to be called, I started it with my sewing tutorial, but it'll be Howl Learns How, and basically I'll be trying new things, which is basically what I do now, but I would like to actually have other people be a part of the journey and like showcase not only my skills, because a lot of what I've been doing now is showing off like my creativity and my this and my that, but I do want to bring other artists and creatives and non-artists and other people, especially like onto my website and YouTube and blog, and be able to share other people's stories as well, because I feel like it is important for me to share my story because it is a unique experience, but it's also important for other people to have like platforms that they can share their work on. So that's something I'll be working on in the near future, once we can actually see each other again and leave the house. So that'll be something I'm looking forward to. Gotta focus. It is where I kind of learned to do extra like stitches and different type of stitches that I didn't learn from the person that I learned from, which was actually my art teacher. I found this guy on YouTube. I feel like I'm like an old man. I feel like I'm 40, but I'm obsessed with YouTube, and that's where I find out my artists and like most of my entertainment. It's from my YouTube videos. In this song, he says the part he says, "This angel city is polluted," and that's my favorite part of the whole song. I feel like right now, this angel city is polluted. We trapped in our houses. Like it just makes no sense. But yeah, to just hop in and knit as well. I really don't know how people just get on live for hours at a time and just have so much stuff to talk about. But as I do this more often, I'm sure I'll get better at that. I feel like I'm very entertaining. I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but I feel like I'm hilarious. So. Together, we all find ways to still communicate through like FaceTime or calling and making sure we're checking in on our friends and family and making sure everybody that we know has what they need, whether it's like you go to the store and drop off groceries to people, or I don't know, you're having food drives with your churches or whatever it may be. I love right now that everybody's coming together and making things happen. Also, the church on my street is still having service, and they had a parking lot full of cars. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like do what you gotta do, but let's keep us safe. Let me see. Do I have like any story times? No. One time I remember I went to. This is totally off topic, but I remember one time I went to the doctor's office, and I had my nails painted, and I don't know if she was a doctor or a nurse or whatever, but she looked at me and she said, "Are you a drag queen, ma'am? What? It's just nail polish. It's not." Yeah, I think that's probably one of the funniest things that ever happened to me with my nails. Most of the time, I don't have anybody say anything about it, but I was like, "What? Am I a drag queen? Do I have a wig on and some makeup?" Okay, so I want to get it to it'll probably be about 16, I think 16 or 17 feet long once I'm finished. And right now I'm working on gray, and then I think I'm going to go to this purple color, which is what I started it with. So at the other end, 16 feet away, started with purple, so maybe I'll go purple next, gray, purple, and then this turquoise color. Well, I don't know if this is turquoise. I guess this is mint, but then I'll go to this mint color. And then I should be done. But my goal before I finish this is I do want to do my performance art piece, which I was telling you about. So I'll be knitting like in nature, and I'll create a little scenic background. So hopefully if it's not too cold tomorrow, I'll do that. But I'm not a fan who likes to be cold, so, I stay in my house until it warms up again. And then, what else? Yeah, I don't know. I'm running out of things to talk about. This might end a little earlier than I expected. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask those questions, or I might just sit here and I might just be knitting for a little smidge. Right now, you see we got a little moment happening. I got the gray nails and the gray yarn. A little coordination happening. This angel city is polluted. No, the flashing gun. Sometimes when I sing, I feel like I'm so good. I feel like I'm hitting the runs, but I know without the person who actually sings the song, if they weren't actually blasting louder than me, I don't know. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I think this is a successful first live. So thank you all for hopping in and watching me as we knit and chat. And hopefully I'll come up with a better name for this whole thing in the near future. But, all right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Thanks again for knitting and chatting, and I'll see you next time. Adios, y'all. I don't know how to end this thing. Hold up. Maybe not adios yet.